Modern philosophers should not be people separate from life, sitting in a high chair twiddling their thumbs whilst thinking about insignificant topics. Nor should they be skinny turtleneck wearing weak men who can come up for a good reason as to why God doesn't exist but can't keep their relationships together. Centuries ago, Pythagoras was a boxer, Plato was a wrestler, Xenophon was a soldier, and Marcus Aurelius was a leader of an entire empire. A philosopher is someone deeply immersed in life, not just the intellectual path. Someone obsessed with the topic of how to be a better human and how to get wiser and get closer to the truths of life. A philosopher is physically, mentally, and spiritually strong. In the next few minutes, I'm going to explain why being as strong as the knowledge you hold is the key to the deep life. And by strong, I mean that in every sense of the word. Around a year ago, me and my friend Joe were walking through the streets of Bristol. Deep in conversation, we began speaking about the quality of our lives before we met each other, and he instantly held me accountable for one thing. I've known Joe for about a year and a half, and prior to this conversation, he watched my old YouTube videos from about 3 years ago. After watching these videos and during this conversation, he created an alter ego for me and began to mock me. It's called Just Philosophical Lewis. Hello everyone, my name's Lewis. Did you know that Seneca said this? As you might know all too well, when we're getting roasted by a friend, we have two options. We can either accept what they're saying or strike back. And I chose to thoroughly enjoy the mockery. Well, I had no choice because it was true. Joe helped me realise 3 years ago I was just on the intellectual path. I was a thumb-twiddling, intellectually obsessed young man who was fascinated with ideas, but as far as putting those ideas into action went, I was an amateur. During this time of just being on the intellectual path, my relationship was failing, my mental health was the worst it's ever been, and physically I felt weak and powerless. I retreated into the realm of thought in order to escape my life. Perhaps this is the dark side of intellectualism. We all know that one person who reads every self-help book there is but never changes. I've just read a brilliant book about discipline, they say, and then they continue to enact the default path of their bad habits where they procrastinate and always complain about things being hard. That was me. Reading, and no action, and no physical strength to bear the knowledge I held. But there was one day when I decided to flip the switch. I was reading a short essay on the art of conversation from French philosopher Michel Montaigne, and he said, "Knowledge needs a strong bearer. You must be as strong as the knowledge you hold." Knowledge is a weighty thing. They, learned men, sink beneath it. Their mental apparatus has not enough energy nor steel to display that noble material and to apportion its strength, to exploit it and to make it help them. Knowledge can lodge only in a powerful nature, and that is very rare. "Feeble minds," said Socrates, "corrupt the dignity of philosophy when they handle it. She appears to be useless and effective when sheathed in a bad covering." Here I was, sat in my mum's garden reading this book, and two words came to mind: physical prowess. This was a light bulb moment for me, a sudden call to action which I've never felt compelled to answer before. Because it is not enough, as I've experienced, to merely know. We must let the strength of that knowledge lodge into a strong physical frame, otherwise, when life tests us, we will be found wanting. As we've discussed, philosophers used to be sailors, gladiators, and leaders. As men and women of the modern world, we need to return to this. We need to fight to become the people that philosophy wants to make us. In essence, this is what Newell of Knowledge was born out of, the path of wisdom and the way of the warrior. The direct meaning of the word Newell is the central supporting pillar of a spiral or winding staircase. The words of knowledge represent the pursuit of the truths of life. Therefore, in the same way as an apple corer gets straight to the heart of the fruit, so too Newell of Knowledge will get us as close as we possibly can to the truths of life. And the closer we get, the more silent we'll become inside. Before we cover the values which will guide us forward if this message resonates with you, there's one last thing I should clarify. There is a difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge means to know. Wisdom means to take that knowledge and practically apply it to life. This is why I've chosen the words of knowledge instead of wisdom, because you, as the fellow philosopher watching these videos, are responsible for one thing: turning the knowledge you learn from these videos into practical wisdom throughout your life. The four values which are going to illuminate our journey are wisdom, strength, courage, and humility. The four corresponding traits we're going to sharpen, develop, and maintain are verbal impeccability, physical prowess, unshakable equanimity, and intellectual humility. So, fellow philosopher, it's a pleasure to share this journey with you. From now until death, stay disciplined, stay playful, stay dangerous.